As a leading customer experience and employee engagement practitioner in Australia, I have to say some of the stories I've read have been heart-wrenchingly sad and absolutely terrible, coming in a first world country. Throwing money at a problem that is obviously systemic may be a small step in the right direction, but it's definitely not the solution. If you think about it, there are some fundamental issues at play here. A society is fundamentally judged by how well it looks after its most vulnerable people, and in this case, we have absolutely failed miserably. We are what we are because of the previous generation. They have educated us, they have provided us with resources, and in their time of retirement is when we should now pay back. This is a time when we should look after them. The fact of the matter is that it's just a matter of time before we end up in an aged care situation as well. And therefore, we should be very, very interested in this situation because if we don't fix it, this is going to be hell for us when we retire. When you look at the interim findings of the Royal Commission report into the aged care industry, the 4 points that they raise are the following. The first point is that the entire industry is based on transactions and not care. And that is incredibly sad when you think about it because at this stage of people's lives, more than anything else, they actually need connection and care. The second point the Royal Commission made was that the entire industry minimizes the voice of carers and the actual aged care clients themselves. In other words, the voice of the customer is not at the table. The third point is that the regulatory body is completely lacks transparency and offers no incentive in terms of making sure standards are met or exceeded. And finally, if you look at the next stakeholder after customers, you've got staff who are under immense pressure and largely feel unappreciated. So in that situation, you've got to say the foundational elements of the industry are problematic. And unless you fix these, nothing else is going to work. Let's face it, all businesses look at cost cutting as a business initiative. So there's absolutely no doubt that this industry is suffering from lack of funding. But the fact of the matter is cost cutting is par for the course in all businesses. The real issue at play is you need to understand, what drives someone to work in the aged care center. And fundamentally, it comes from a core human need of love and connection. The fact that these people want to care for older people, look after them, connect with them at a time when they are most vulnerable. This is a profession that is not just a job, it's an actual vocation. Now, I want you to imagine if you take up a job in this industry where you really want to help someone, you really want to connect with someone, and then imagine the frustration of not being able to do exactly that. Imagine the frustration of being caught in a position where rather than being good to patients because of lack of resources, you have to be nasty to patients. So the huge opportunity aged care centers have is to truly engage staff. Because guess what? They are in the best position to find opportunities to increase effectiveness of aged care, but also find efficiencies in terms of reducing costs. So rather than treating them like a resource, it's much better to actually bring them into the tent and truly engage them to drive improvements. What we have found in our studies nationwide is that an engaged staff member is way more productive than a normal staff member. In fact, we found that the discretionary effort that an engaged staff member gives you is 75% more.
Engaged strategy, unleashing the potential in organizations and individuals for over 10 years.